Dangerously Close. This episode is brought to you by William Mitchell Audio. Now, I could go on and on with a bunch of technical jargon about an audio production company, but right before we made this episode, I checked Netflix and I saw that Jeff Foxworthy had a brand new Netflix special. Now, if I was the type of person that would say something negative, I would say, well, most of the stand-up comedians that I've had as guests on this podcast really deserve a Netflix special more than him. How many times do you need to hear "you might be a redneck if" jokes? But see, I'm not a negative person. What I saw was an opportunity. Because last time I was in New Orleans, I came up with a bit about Jeff Foxworthy called Jeffrey Foxworthington. About a man who made millions of dollars by belittling poor people and grew to live in a giant mansion where he still tells jokes, but he's basically just telling his servants that they might be rednecks if they don't do his chores. But what bothered me was I thought, Jeff Foxworthy will never be relevant enough again for this bit to work. And then there it was on Netflix. Jeff Foxworthy is relevant for my joke. So I'm announcing right now, the new series, The Adventures of Jeffrey Foxworthington, will be coming to the My Views Are My Own YouTube channel, which I am now for the first time announcing, launching in May. I can't wait for you guys to check it out. And to say all this, will also be brought to you by William Mitchell Audio. So go to williammitchellaudio.com. My guest today is Shannon Hardy. Shannon Hardy is an LA-based comedian, writer, actress, and moderately tolerable person from Boston. After graduating from USC's School of Cinematic Arts, her work was featured at Klexicon, Catalina Film Festival, Film Pipeline, and the Yes and Laughter Club. Currently, she co-hosts the Facebook comedy TV show Conspiracy Central. She's performed at the House of Blues, the Comedy Store, the Ice House, and various hotspots around Los Angeles. However, her dream is to perform at a Dunkin' Donuts near you. But for now, she hosts the Formosa Comedy Show as well as a drag comedy show, Tight Tens.
Woo!
I've grown a lot as a podcaster. I used to just every time I had to read on mic, it was, oh no, I lost you. I found you.
No. Oh, we're back. No, I commend podcasters so much because, well, I have ADD like everybody else in the world, and I could not stay on track of one thing to save my life, struggling even now.
Well, I've got good news for you. This is going to be one of the most ADD style interviews ever conducted.
Let's go. Yes. I love it. I can never finish a conversation about one thing ever. I'm like here, there. It's so distracted all the time. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're gonna love this. Before we hit record and we were just talking, I guess what I was just saying, I had got talked into running a half marathon with no time, barely. I have less than a month to train, going from
Who did this to you?
I did this to me because yes. I was like, yeah, this will get me back into the swing of fitness, man. But I'm sure people don't want to listen to me talk about my aches and pains and my sunburn right now. So
I'm enjoying it. So, but yeah,
we have a brand new segment. It was invented for you. I'm a fan of your comedy.
Thank you.
But also so we're going to start today's episode with a brand new segment. It's called Is It Lit? Basically, you're hip, you've got style, you've got your finger on the pulse. So I'm just going to throw some stuff out there and you decide whether it's lit or not. And that's we're just going to just jump in and
you're too kind. I am the least cool 26-year-old on I don't know if we can say on the planet. And I will try my best. I think this will be fun because I'm so not hip. So let's give it a go.
it might make a good balance because I'm like an elder millennial who truly thinks that what I think is cool is fucking cool. Like, and it's not me thinking that I'm cool. It's just that I really believe that like when I think something's cool, it's got to be fucking cool.
I'm a very passionate person about niche things. You're entitled to enjoying things, so even if it's not enjoyed by the general public, if it's cool to you, that's awesome.
So yeah, we can feel free to disagree a little bit. And, I'm going to let you know beforehand, I have opinions too.
Do you? Oh my God. Well, I also have opinions. So let's see how this goes. I don't know.
My views are my own. And your views are your own. And there are no wrong answers.
Okay.
But let's just fucking jump in the deep end here.
Let's do it.
Mountain Dew hard seltzer. Is it lit?
Oh, I'm a ride or die Mountain Dew girl. That is actually hands down my favorite soda. I don't know.
Get out of fucking town.
I don't know how you pulled this shit. Like, I don't know who you talked to, who told you that I love Mountain Dew so much, but I love Mountain Dew. But if I have a tummy ache, I'm going to go, what was the other option? It was ginger ale, right?
There's no other option.
I made one up.
Is it lit? I haven't tried
Mountain Dew is definitely lit. I think I don't know if you're seeing, they have like these Mountain Dew dual flavored, pods or whatever like that. Not lit to me. I think that like the flavored vapes are disgusting. And that's, again, I told you we're going to go all over the place. You said Mountain Dew. I thought vape juice, not good, but no, Mountain Dew's amazing. Not good for you, but every now and then a little soda.
I think we have fully entered the zone that I was hoping might be the dynamic because I guess you're Gen Z. So, and I'm elder millennial. So we're like, we should be having differing opinions, but so far that's not the case.
Well, I'm on the line. I'm just barely Gen Z. Like I'm kind of in the middle of millennial and Gen Z, I think.
Yeah.
So that might be why.
So you still fuck with Mountain Dew?
Oh, I fuck hard with Mountain Dew all day.
So I haven't tried this product yet, but I mean, it's just now, like it hit the shelves maybe a few weeks ago, but they just began their campaign like hard as shit. Also, real quick, I want to just remind everybody, I'm not getting paid to promote these products. These are just questions that I'm curious about. All right. Well, neither one of us have you tried it? Have you had the alcoholic Mountain Dew yet?
No, that's just probably like a Four Loko on crack. Like I can't even imagine. I think I would just explode out of the stratosphere with energy. That sounds very dangerous, but I would love to try it.
And I will go ahead and say for myself too, I'm not a hard seltzer guy. That's not me. But I will say this: I have attempted so many, I've tried to create so many cocktails out of Mountain Dew in the past, but they all are, Mountain Dew is just not a good mixer.
Mountain Dew is good on its own. You don't need to add alcohol to Mountain Dew to make it good. I don't think Mountain Dew sounds like the worst chaser in the world, but because it's like, it's not, it doesn't taste like candy, although it looks like it would, it looks like it would taste like a Jolly Rancher. What is the flavor that I'm thinking? I don't think you can add anything to Mountain Dew. It's that unique,
Yeah. And I have to make it a quick admission, because we are talking about, I brought up the fact, maybe I was just bragging that I'm running this half marathon, which is like such a shitty brag because I'm not even running a real marathon. But this morning, instead of breakfast, I stopped and grabbed a Mountain Dew on the way to the trail. And I was like, yeah, this Mountain Dew is going to get me through a 7.5 mile run.
Well, I mean, like, honestly, what is the difference at this point between soda and Gatorade? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no difference, except for Mountain Dew tastes better than Gatorade.
Exactly. I mean, you're fine.
You heard that, Mountain Dew? We said you're lit. Send me a check.
I know, Mountain Dew, get on it. We would look great in green. Are you Irish?
While we're at it, Mountain Dew, Shannon Hardy is up and coming. I mean, if you want a spokesperson, I mean, right now, they're putting like, who's the actress from SNL that's in everything right now? Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon, yeah.
I don't think Kate McKinnon would be a good Mountain Dew sponsor, but I think you would be. So
Thank you. I think I'm gonna views of my own, disagreeing. I think Kate McKinnon would actually be an incredible Mountain Dew spokeswoman because she's so weird and out there and like is so high energy that she kind of already seems like she's had 3 Mountain Dews already every day. I don't know. Maybe that's just my impression of her. I love Sarah Squirm though. I think Sarah Squirm would be a really funny spokesperson for Mountain Dew. I don't know if I don't think she'd do it, but
I'll tell you one thing. I'm punching up on this one and saying, nah, it should be you.
okay,
honestly,
I'll take it.
I wouldn't be the worst one either because for what I am and how Mountain Dew loves to make themselves part of skateboarding as much as they possibly can. And, yeah, at this point in my life, I've had like 2 torn MCLs, like so many like really kind of like life-changing injuries. And it'd be funny too for me to be like, that's why I drink Mountain Dew before I go fuck myself up some more.
You would be great because you're like you're so athletic. That would be a great rebrand for them to be like, get into this like culture of wellness and trick people into thinking that it'll help you get fit.
Yeah. When in reality, it's like, I mean, no offense to Honey Boo Boo's mom or whatever, but before like she's probably was more in most people's minds maybe associated with Mountain Dew, except for like when you see like Nigel Houston at the X Games, of course you're like, oh yeah, and a skateboarder, but Nigel Houston's not living off Mountain Dew.
Live fast, die young, drink Mountain Dew, skateboard off of a cliff. That's my motto. I think that, it might erode your insides, but if you're doing like, it's probably best for like an extreme sport, people who are like, we got to go right now. The sport might kill me, but so might this drink,
I need to spike my blood sugar right now. Mm-hmm. All right, Shannon, I'm going to take this in the complete opposite direction. Cool. Not exactly a product, it's more of a service. Are you familiar with Plant Nanny?
No, who's that?
Oh, it's an app. It's an app that I just downloaded, and having admitted that I'm a person that will drink Mountain Dews, this is actually no. I don't want to change your opinion of it at all. Before I just tell you what it is.
Okay.
Plant Nanny is an app. You download it. It's a hydrating. It keeps you hydrated supposedly. So an adorable little cartoon plant, and it either grows if you drink your water. Like if you drink, I'm supposed to drink 10 cups of water a day based on my information. And if I don't do it, like and put it into the app, the plant will die, wilt and die. And it's an adorable cartoon. So
that's so cute.
Is it lit?
I wish it would like punish you if you didn't drink your water. Like the plant like holds a gun to your head if you don't drink your water. That's what I need. I need like corporal punishment in order to like drink all my water. I'm so dehydrated.
No, me too. But I mean, it's currently changing my life because like I think what it is I can be so empathetic or like I can be such an empath for a little cartoon character more so than even like human beings that I meet. So it's like I can't let my little sunflower die. I have to drink my water. So, I
love that. I feel like that. I think that if I wasn't such a flake with apps and like fitness apps, that would be the thing for me because I love cartoons. Something like that sounds like adorable and something that I feel like that would be something that would get me for like a week and then my plant would die, kind of like a Tamagotchi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I could never keep a Tamagotchi alive, which I think, I don't know, says a lot about my ability. About my ability to sustain things. I can't keep real plants alive either. So I don't know. I think that the idea is adorable, but in terms of if I would actually be able to commit to it, I don't think so. Like if it had games, maybe there's going to be like,
can I give you one last piece of information about Plant Nanny?
Yes.
But this is exclusive to me. So for me personally, I don't let any app turn on notifications at all whatsoever. It's something that I just do not do, but I turned on notifications for Plant Nanny so that it can just be on my fucking case all the time. And so it texts me basically. And it's like, did you drink water? And I'm like, no, yeah, I should. And like, I have a sink. So water is always available.
I wish it would like, you know what they should do? Cause this is how they would get me. If the things that they said were like insulting, oh, you didn't drink your water today, you little bitch. Like, oh, you didn't like, you don't care about yourself. You don't love yourself enough to be drinking your, that's how it would get me. If it was like sending me like mean little funny things, like if I didn't actually fulfill what it wanted me to do, which is just drink water. It's not
I respect that. Sorry, Plant Nanny. Although I love you and you are a life-changing app for me. This is It Lit with Shannon Hardy, and sadly, Plant Nanny is not lit. Bummer.
They're close to getting lit. They're like, they just, I don't know. I think if they want to be more lit, more Gen Z, they got to make it like almost kind of in on the joke of like, this is like a ridiculous thing that you have to do to remember to drink your water. Like most people just years ago would just remember to drink it without a little plant talking to them. So I don't know. I like that you are so committed to wellness. I'm trying to be nice now that I've just absolutely dumped on Plant Nanny because they're not mean enough for me.
This is It Lit? Like, I mean, you are the like the hip with it person here that's like telling me if it's lit or not. So it's cool. We can, as a matter of fact, I'm about to shoot you another one, and I'm willing to face the wrath of what you may say, and that is Bitmoji. Is it lit?
Bitmoji. I'm so scared that somebody who sent me a Bitmoji is gonna like listen to this. I'm immediately terrified when someone sends me a Bitmoji because they're unsettling, but also I don't know how to respond to them. I really don't. Like, no matter what the Bitmoji is doing, I'm just thinking too hard about what they meant by that Bitmoji, because it's like a whole picture at that point. It's much more meta than an actual emoji. Like it looks like the person. And then I'm thinking about like, that's what this person thinks they look like, or like like when somebody makes their Bitmoji just like so much more handsome or hotter than they are in real life. Like,
that's the fun of Bitmoji. You can be like really, my Bitmoji is absurd. I had to tone it down though, like because they give you like so many options of what he can wear. The thing is, I will totally agree with you though, like what you're saying with people sending you the Bitmojis. I first got into it because I had a friend of mine send me a Bitmoji, like, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Because it's like a psyop. And then I realized I was like, I can do this to my own benefit. So I frequently have different jobs that I'm doing. Like I don't have like one just set job. And so what I remember the first time I really started using Bitmoji with people that employ me for any particular reason, people, if they would ask me, like if I was going to do something or do the thing I said I was going to do, I would just reply with a Bitmoji of me that says "Yas Queen." That's when that was like, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago when I first had Bitmoji, and I was like, "Yas Queen." Like
that, you know what? 4 years ago, that's fine. I don't judge you for that. Bitmojis were still hot. They were still new. It was still exciting. No, I think it's also, this is a self-own. I don't like, I'm Gen Z, but I don't even know how to use Bitmojis. Like I'm really, really bad at technology. If something is not immediately easy for me on a phone to figure out, which I'm sure it is, I just won't do it. So, because like you have to like download an app to make it so that you have the option of being able to like text it to someone, and immediately too many hoops for me to jump through because I'm lazy as hell too. So
I would say this. I feel like you're leaning heavily into Bitmoji is not lit, which is totally fair. As a matter of fact,
I haven't given you a straight answer. It's so hard to get me to be like, I'll just tell you like in a very like passive aggressive, non-confrontational way that I don't like it, instead of being like, it's not lit.
No, just it's not lit. It's okay. I mean, doesn't mean I'm not going to just stop using it just because it's not lit. Because also like another reason why I use it, I forgot the term for this, but if you send someone a text and you're like, hey, I am going to do this thing with you, whatever, so on and so forth, or whatever. And I know this is a thing that people don't realize feels passive aggressive, is instead of responding to your text, they do the little thing where they can give you a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Like it's just like a little thumbs up pops up on your own text. And it basically means this conversation is over, but sure. And
how do you feel about that?
90% of the time I actually prefer it because I do love to end the conversation and I don't want to spend my entire day texting. However, in defense of Bitmoji, one thing that I feel like you can do, especially if you want to like end the conversation on a bizarre note, is to like send them like, there's one of my favorite Bitmojis is me, or my, you know, my avatar is popping out of a toilet with like tons of hearts like surrounded me. So
yeah. Listen,
right. We gotta move on through more of Is It Lit, because we have so many, and I have to check and see.
I'm like reacting
the listeners sent in.
your Bitmoji of you out of a toilet.
All right, this one could be complex. This is not everyone does it wrong, not everyone does it right. Van life. Is it lit?
Like living out of a van?
When I think of van life, I think of wealthy young people who can afford to spend their entire life traveling to like beautiful locations and like, you know, or like Joshua Tree National Park or like, you know, a waterfall. And they're like, van life, I live in a van. But it's like, but how do you live in that van? Like without income?
I know. Well, here actually I do. I'm gonna disagree with you. I think that is lit because like fuck having to have like a landlord or like, because like I feel like nowadays it's so hard to be able to afford like even just an Airbnb. Airbnbs used to be affordable, now they're just like hotels, right? And to be able to like afford to go to a lot of places right now is really hard. And I guess like even being able to afford to live out of a van is really hard. Like my sister actually, she used to be a real estate agent, and what she did was she flipped like a really kind of like worn down house in New Hampshire, like nobody like the middle of New Hampshire, like a very cheap house. She was a nurse, used her money from nursing to flip this house, took the money from flipping the house, bought herself an RV, so not a van, and
yeah, same deal though.
Yeah, and basically has just been traveling the country. Like she's going to be here next week with her RV. Like she just did this, I want to say 4 or 5 months ago. It was really just kind of like it was random for me because I had no idea she was even flipping houses. So like I heard about all this and I was like, that's crazy. But I think it's like, if you can think, like you have to really plan for that stuff. Like I don't, like you have to be able to be hustling to be able to afford to even do that. Like I don't know what the breakdown would be in terms of expenses, but it sounds like it would be just as expensive to live in one place as it would be to sustain the van lifestyle. One, because of how expensive gas prices are now, right?
Yeah.
And then two, because like, I mean, I guess like you must have like a fridge in there or something, but then like you got to pay for like, I'm assuming like a septic tank. Like I think the litany of like the upkeep of this van must be expensive. And then like you said, you know, do you have a job? Maybe they have like a work from home situation, kind of like
for real.
You know,
I think
you kind of hack the system.
In a surprising twist, we found out I'm a hater and van life is lit.
Well, I don't know. I think I started listening to this. I was like a podcast, and I didn't listen to it all the way through, but apparently living out of vans is hurting like the housing situation even more, because like more and more people are doing that because it's cheaper. But at the same time, it's like, well, that's not, you know, it's like you got to do what you can afford to do. And if that somehow breaks down cheaper than renting, or like people can't own houses right now. It's so, I mean, they can, but it's really hard to. So
I agree with you entirely. Yeah. Fuck. I mean, also, you know, so much of the housing market is literally just disgusting, awful Wall Street scumbags that bundle by entire neighborhoods and whole sections of cities to artificially raise the price of housing. So you're really convincing me that van life is lit.
Yeah, I mean, do what you can, like, if you can afford, if that's cheaper than renting, like, why wouldn't you do that? You know what I mean? And if you're happy living in a small space, screw it, you know?
Yeah. Well, okay. I reiterate, van life is lit. I'm a hater, but that's okay.
That's okay.
I also love things. I'm more than one thing. All right. We're going to get into some things that are a little more weirder, because I was like trying to find out like what's trending. Sadly,
Mhm.
so much of what's trending is, like on Twitter is fucking depressing as hell. And I didn't
Yeah.
want to ask if any of these awful depressing things was lit. So here's some of the shit that's trending on Twitter. Wordle. Is it
Wordle.
lit?
I think that it is. I
I think
think
it's
that
lit
it
too.
is. I think it is lit. I think games right now and just in general, I think being able to just stop working and do something purely for the fun of it is great. And if it has some sort of benefit for your brain, why wouldn't you do that? You should do that. I don't play Wordle,
Yeah, me
but
either.
you know, I'm all for a little,
But
distraction from reality.
I don't play Wordle because I'm still one of the people that plays words with friends. Like we're a diminishing population. But yeah,
Make
if you're out
friends.
there and if you're a listener and you play that game,
Adam.
it's just my name. And then if you want to know if it's me, it's a picture of me wearing a Lilo and Stitch sweater. So
um, yeah, I think that's like one of the ways that people have really like stayed connected to right now. So add
All right,
him, add Doug.
Wordle is lit. All right, now here's one. I wasn't sure why, but this has like been trending for a long ass time, and I guess today especially popping.
Uh-huh.
Mark Hamill.
Oh, why is he trending?
I guess people just fucking love Mark Hamill. I'm tempted to say he's lit. I mean,
He
he was
was
Luke
in
Skywalker for sure.
Yeah. So I have no opinions on Mark Hamill other than like I did enjoy him in Star Wars. I think it was weird he was into his sister. I know that we have to separate the person from the character that they played, but
Yeah.
I think Mark Hamill can be lit. I think he seems like a great guy. Why not? I mean, hey, I also don't
I guess
know much about
actually
him.
now that I think I do know why he is. It's because he's got that he has a really big presence on Twitter, and people do he's been famous forever because Star Wars came out in like in 1976, and he's just coming in like
I'm looking at his
hot
Twitter.
on all the so this don't say gay bill in Florida and shit.
Yeah.
uh Mark Hamill's been like just I guess like really coming in hot and just burning these like proponents of that shit and just hitting them with like, and he's clever. So I don't know. I think that might be why he might be lit, but I don't know. It's up
I'm
to
on
you.
his Twitter. I'm on his Twitter right now. Can confirm Mark Hamill is lit.
At this time, we cannot confirm Mark Hamill's litness.
We can. Here's what I'll say. Great actor, and love anybody who's using their fame to say, like fuck that bill because wait, is it? Oh my god, wait. You know what is crazy about that? Doesn't Disney own Star Wars?
Disney does own Star Wars.
Right.
And also, Disney World is like an enormous amount of Florida's revenue. So it does
Right.
matter what they say.
Yeah, because I know that there was that Disney employee walkout because okay, so I follow this incredible comedian. Her name is Nori Reed. She is a trans stand-up comedian, and I'm reading off her post right now. I currently write for Disney and I'm walking out today. In fact, our entire production is shut down. This was like 3 days ago, which is honestly a very big deal. Queer people and primarily trans people are being targeted across our country, and the message is clear. We're not valid or real humans. I'm sick of fighting for my rights to exist in this country. My heart breaks for trans youths. Disney has shown a blatant disrespect for queer people with their double-sided politics and performative actions. Enough, no more tokenism or false support. They must pick a side. Nearly 240 anti-LGBTQ bills filed in 2022 so far, most targeting trans people. Yeah, I guess there's like this huge shutdown of production of, I guess like 3 days ago, but I don't know if like they've released a news statement about it or what, but if I'm understanding it, it's like you said that they said that
I thought that Disney had released a statement saying that they were opposed to the bill because of its just like really absurdly cruel nature. I mean, it's basically human rights abuse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's something I'm reading. Raven Simone joins Disney walkout over "Don't Say Gay" bill. We don't like it. Hold on. escape. Oh,
Damn.
paywall. I can't
This
think
is
about it because of the paywall.
Is It Lit just got so serious.
I'm so sorry. I
Oh
can't.
no, that's not. No, don't be. I was just saying, like, honestly, I threw Mark Hamill on there because I was like, oh, Mark Hamill's trending, and now we're finding out that it's like there's actually a bunch of substance behind this question.
Yeah. Well, it says, I'm reading right now off of Variety that there was a rally in the park where several employees said it was important for the company to stop funding Florida legislators who supported the bill that prohibits the instruction around gender identity and sexual orientation. But several also expressed concern that Disney had been transferring workers from California, Florida. So yeah, I guess they're still funding some of the people that supported the bill.
Well, that's the thing is, like, when Disney with their, what are they, like, $1 trillion company? If they're giving money to the people that are proponents of this bill that are in the government, it doesn't, like you're saying, it doesn't matter if it's if they make a gesture and they put a LGBTQ character in one of their cartoons, it doesn't undo the fact that you also funded a person who was actually making the lives of, in particular, trans kids, like a living hell. So
yeah, it sounds like a couple of days in, they kind of tried to backtrack, but at that point, it does feel like kind of just to save face. They're willing to make a political stand when, like, it affects their money, but, like, hey, I guess that's the point of a protest, is to, like, put pressure on the people with money.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say Mark Hamill is lit.
I literally forgot we were talking about Mark Hamill. I'm sorry. Mark Hamill, you are lit.
Here, this is another complete accident. Oh, I forgot to tell you this. While I was waiting for us to connect, I opened up Instagram to just see if I got a message from you or whatever. And the very first thing that popped up was somebody had made a post about Dunkin' Donuts, which is in your bio. I took that as to be like a really good sign for this episode, and you as a guest. It was like, how rare is it for me to open up Instagram and the first thing is someone being like, I'm at Dunkin' Donuts right now? Like, what? That
is really crazy. What if I took another dark turn and I was just like, Dunkin' Donuts, pay your employees more, which I do believe, but I won't make it dark. I won't do that to you again. I won't do what we just did to Mark Hamill to Dunkin' Donuts, but I will say, yes, pay your employees more. But Dunkin' Donuts has its foot on my neck. I love Dunkin' Donuts. Although I am drinking Starbucks right now, if there were more Dunkin' Donuts in LA, I would be there. Yeah. They have better sandwiches. They have better pastries and donuts. Like, if Starbucks had the options for sandwiches, because you kind of like build your own, if they had that, I might be swayed though.
I'm not familiar because I'm not a coffee drinker. Like, as we said, I'm a Mountain Dew
guy.
Oh yeah. But I will go to Starbucks literally if I'm out and about with my dog, and I'll get a pup cup and not buy anything. that makes sweet. I mean, like, that's something I can respect a company for. If I can just like cruise through and be like, yo, can I get a pup cup? And they're like, yeah. And they'd be like, no one has ever said no. They just give you the pup cup, which I guess for people that don't have dogs, it's just like, basically it's like a little cup of whipped cream that dogs like to eat. So
I know I've watched so many of those videos on TikTok of people just giving their dog the pup cup. And I'm like, because I don't have a dog, but I wish that I had one. What kind of dog do you have?
Well, she's from the pound, so she's like a bunch of different types of dogs. Ultimately what she looks like is if a Doberman like never grew all the way up, because she's mixed with something smaller. So she's like a middle-sized Doberman, like a 40-pound Doberman instead of like whatever they normally would be.
Oh yeah, I'm a big dog person, or like a medium dog. No shade to small dogs, but yeah.
Dogs are lit. We're almost through the Is It Lit? And also this is so weird because I had the theme park Six Flags in mind when I wrote this Is It Lit? Which is so weird because we just got so into Disney, had no idea we would head down that road because I brought up Mark Hamill. But just life is a winding road.
Yeah.
All right. Is it lit? Water parks.
Water parks. Actually, I fuck with a water park because I don't like amusement parks because rides, like, like roller coasters, I can't do them. They just scare the hell out of me. I'm scared that I'm gonna get like trapped or something. The most I would ever do is like, have you ever been to Canopy Lake Park where they have that thing that just goes up the waterfall and then just like shoots you right down and then you get splashed with water?
No.
That's the most I would do. So it's literally, it takes like 2 minutes. You go up a hill, down a hill. That's as most as I do. But I do love water parks. I love the what is it, like the wave pool? That's fun.
Yeah, those are a little scary. I've almost drowned in one of those more than once.
Did you really?
I've almost drowned in so many different bodies of water that we can't even go into it because I've almost
drowned twice.
Oh hell yeah, drown club.
Hell yeah, near death experience.
Have you ever like fully at the point like of coughing water out of your lungs, like can't believe you're still alive?
Yeah, I got hit in the head with a raft. Like, those like rafts in that like are in the middle of the lake. They're like wood. Like when you go to like a lake, they have like those.
Oh yeah.
I changed the bottom of like the lake.
Yeah.
There was one of those, and one of the chains broke, and so it whipped around, and it hit me in my 11-year-old head, and I went down for the count.
Shit! Did the lifeguard save you?
I think my dad did.
Hell yeah! Shout out, Mr. Hardy.
Yeah.
I used to be. I was a lifeguard for years.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Did you save anyone?
I did. I had one guy who he didn't die, but he did, like in the strict definition of the term, drown in my pool while I was lifeguarding. It was the thing is I was 16 and I was lifeguarding at a college, so I was much younger than all of the people that I was over watching. But I mean, I was qualified. I was a good lifeguard. I was a very strong swimmer. I had these all these frat dudes had come in and they went to we had an Olympic pool at my job, and they were diving to the bottom of the 12-foot and seeing how many laps they could swim at the very bottom of the 12-foot. And at the time, like, and all these guys are like 21, 22 and like jacked,
Yeah.
And I'm a 16-year-old skateboarder and I'm like, fuck it. Because there were also children in the shallow end. So that's where my focus is. I'm like, gotta watch the kids, don't want a kid to drown. So I'm ignoring these fucking guys. And at the same time, I'm in the high chair. You always have at this particular job, you always had a second lifeguard who would sit down at the bottom. It's like they're trying to like rest their eyes. And my partner, who was also like, she's a college student, much older than me, was like, is that guy drowning? Like, what the fuck? And like, I look, and this dude's friends, like, oh, yes. This friend's, they're dragging his body out of the pool. And I'm like, fuck. And I run over there, like, I know CPR. Like, You're
ready.
I am
been
fucking
waiting
Baywatch.
for someone to
I am
drown.
fucking David Hasselhoff. This is my heroic moment. And before I can get there, like, so they're like slapping him on the back as hard as they can. Like, that's what they're doing. And it actually, surprisingly, it works. So he just starts vomiting and he's puking up all this pool water and whatever else he had drinking. I don't know. He might have been drunk too. Yeah. And so I get there, and this is one of the weirdest, like, it's weird when you're a lifeguard, you're an authority figure period. If you're at the pool. And so I'm sitting there, like, when I was 16, I was like skinny because like I skateboarded like 6-7 hours a day whenever I possibly could. And it was the only sport I cared about. And I never lifted weights. And all these guys are clearly just, all they do is lift weights and drink beer. They're all like huge dudes. I walk over there and the dude had puked all over the pool deck. And I walked in, I was pissed too, because I was like, I'm not going to clean that up. And the guy that almost had just almost died, I was like, look, there's the hose, there's the towel. You clean up this puke and you get out of the pool. And all of them like just acted like I was a cop. They were like, yeah, oh yeah, okay. And I was like, it was funny.
Well, first of all, that is like, they are so much more in danger than the children because they're in college. They're all drunk. You know what I mean? But that is funny that you made him clean up his own puke, as you should have. Like, learn your lesson.
Well, and it's all perspective too. Like in my memory, and also at that time, like I thought of them as like older, grown men who all seemed really big and strong and healthy to me. But if I were to like see those guys today, I'd be like a bunch of fucking jackass kids. Like
nerds can't handle his alcohol.
Hold up. It's time to check the mailbag. Every week on the show, we check the mailbag to see if anyone has written a message into the show, and then I address your questions and concerns. So let's get started. The first message to the show this week comes from Simona Miller. Simona wrote, "Hi, if you don't mind my saying, you've got an excellent Instagram account, but you deserve more. Who's your boss? Who makes decisions on this account? We are all humans, and I think you also do not like it when you do not respond to your messages and ignore it. Is not it?" Wow, Simona. That touched me. You're right. That's not it. And that's why right now I'm responding to your message. I am my boss and I manage my Instagram account. Anyway, I'm glad you enjoyed the podcast and thanks for writing into the show, Simona. Okay. The next message comes from Violet Blankenship. Violet wrote, "Basketball emoji. Want to buy sex dolls that look exactly like real people? Your only sexual partner." Wow, thanks, Violet. No, I don't want that. But I'm glad that you enjoy the podcast. And thanks for writing into the show. And now back to the interview. All right. Your last name's Hardy. I don't know if you're related to either of these Hardys, but we're gonna see if this shit's lit. Ed Hardy. Is it lit?
Is it lit right now? No, but I think it would be funny. I think it would be lit if it was worn like ironically now. The 90s are kind of making a comeback, like the late 2000s. It's so funny that you say that because like I actually went through like a wormhole of looking at like old celebrities who would wear Ed Hardy.
Everything old is new again.
Everything old is new again. And I think that I think it could make a comeback. Like I don't think it's currently lit, but if it was like really, if you did something kind of camp with it, you know, and like high fashion, you know, where you're like tongue in cheek wearing it, that could be really lit. That's actually probably like, that would be like a really funny photo shoot idea to also, just like.
I know you're like heavily into fashion and style, and people would probably be interested in doing whatever it is you're doing. So if you were the one to try and bring back Ed Hardy, it could potentially.
Ironically, because my last name is Hardy, and then
shit, yeah. All right, so let's give Ed Hardy. It could be lit again, but it's not lit.
Yeah, that would be very funny to wear on a.
I don't know if you're related to this Hardy, but Tom Hardy, is he lit?
Tom Hardy is lit.
Lit.
Tom Hardy is so good in everything that I see him in. Did you watch the last Spider-Man movie?
I haven't seen it yet, and I feel like bummed out because everyone saw it but me. I'm waiting for it to like on like HBO or fucking like DVD or whatever.
I won't spoil it for you, but okay, maybe that is kind of. He does make. I mean, if you know Spider-Man is the only superhero kind of movie that I watch because it's how I bond with my little brother. So like the new Spider-Man movies always come out kind of like during Christmas time. Yeah. So every Christmas we go see the new Spider-Man movie kind of. But that being said, he does make like a really quick cameo in it because he plays, I guess, like Venom in one of the.
He is Venom. I really enjoy. I love those. I love that Tom Hardy's Venom. I think they're really cool because it's just such a departure from a regular superhero film, especially because Venom's a bad guy supposedly. I don't know. Can I tell you like why Ed Hardy? I mean, not Ed Hardy. Fucking not Ed Hardy at all. Why Tom Hardy is so lit to me recently or in the past year is I had so my appendix exploded last fall, and actually it affected this podcast because we were supposed to do a cross country bicycle trip, and 2 weeks before our departure date, my appendix exploded and I had to go get a surgery. It was very painful, and like I know people get their appendix removed all the time. It's supposed to be simple, but mine was like a little bit more gnarly because it was like I went in like after it was already like getting kind of serious, like potentially die shit.
Yeah.
So I was like basically immobilized while I was like healing, and it took like a couple weeks. It was crazy, like a couple weeks of like straight up on the couch. And so I started watching Peaky Blinders, and just for anybody like that doesn't know, like Tom Hardy's character in that is fucking awesome. He's probably the best character in the show. And I love Cillian Murphy, but
Also him and Mad Max. I mean, that's a while ago too, but to me, that really just kind of solidified him as like kind of an icon.
Yeah. Yeah. He was great. And he was Bane. I know that you're not a big superhero movie.
Oh no,
Bane was
do
the
watch the
shit.
Batman movie. Oh, he was so good. That voice, I wish I could do that voice.
Yeah. Would you like to continue on with the podcast?
Do you ever listen to those like nighttime stories like that you can download to like sleep meditations?
Yeah, I have a Headspace. So
yeah,
because of that.
I do Calm, and they have celebrities who will read them. So it'll be like Matthew McConaughey.
He was like, I was going to sleep before it was cool.
Which his is really good. I mean, he obviously, that voice is iconic, but they have some really lame celebrities on there. Like they had like Camila Cabello. I was like, this woman's never gonna suit me. I really don't like her. But if they had like Tom Hardy as Bane's voice doing like a nighttime sleep meditation, that would be amazing. I would listen to that.
If Bane talked you to sleep.
Yeah.
I was born in the darkness. You should come to the darkness and sleep. Yeah, that would be sick. All right, well, let's go ahead and say this. Ed Hardy, not lit. Tom Hardy is lit. And as a matter of fucking fact, Shannon Hardy, the comedy brand that you are right now, is lit as fuck. And
Thank you.
Man, so I mean, you're putting in the work right now. I know that. Like you're out, you're hosting live comedy shows. You're doing stand-up. And you also have a show called Conspiracy Central. I just found out about it, so I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but it's definitely on my list. Listen, maybe can you give me like a elevator pitch of what is Conspiracy Central?
So there are multiple hosts on Conspiracy Central, so I'm not the only one, but they bring comedians on to talk about conspiracies, and then they post them on Facebook TV, which nobody watches, but like, I don't know, like it's an older demographic, but all the comedians are like so young. So, but it's funny because the older demographic like doesn't get the joke that like we don't really believe these conspiracies. So the comedians are supposed to come on and explain and convince you of the conspiracy, like to be funny. Like it's all tongue in cheek. But so I think the highlight of Conspiracy Central is just read the comments from like Deborah in your hometown being like,
hell yeah.
I don't think Avril Lavigne's actually dead. Obviously, Avril Lavigne is not actually dead, Deborah.
Oh my God. You reminded me of my favorite app. It's called Neighborhood. I can never fucking remember it. It's awful. It's just like, it's like the people that all got kicked off Facebook and they're on there like talking about like the worst. They're like a fucking a coyote just walked down my street and killed a man. Like people are just lying on there. Like it's like the nuttiest people.
Facebook is, I think that somebody should do. Actually, this would be like a really like a funny thing, like a deep dive into like community Facebook groups. Like my hometown has one, and it's just where like people who have nothing better to do like kind of complain about like inane bullshit, like and like all the drama. Like if somebody did like dissected like the most bizarre like Facebook community like niche drama, like, and see how it escalates or whatever. Like I read one, it was about like this teenager. I mean, this is like really crazy, but he collected a bunch of photos on the internet of like women, of like, not women because they're girls, there were girls in high school that he went to school with, and then he like posted that. He like created a website that like ranked all of the girls from his hometown, which is terrible, but he's like 17. Like that's like, you know, your boys are gross, like, you know, at that age. And it erupted into the most dramatic scene on my like hometown Facebook group, where like he had to basically switch schools because of it. And it's like, I hope he learned his lesson that shit's not cool, but the backlash of it was just like so much bigger than the actual like thing, you know, because they weren't like, I guess they were like, I mean, they couldn't have been inappropriate if the girls were posting it. Like you can't do that without people's consent. And also just don't rank women, you know, like that's not cool. Like,
but you know, this is a full circle of that app, because that's when Mark Zuckerberg and like the
Yes.
who's in
Yeah.
twins. The initial purpose of Facebook was to rank the attractiveness of the girls at their school. That was before they found out that they were sitting on a gold mine of like international platform. That was what it was fucking for. So
Yeah.
like,
yeah, the moms had there was like it was like people were on two aisles of the fence that like this kid should be expelled forever. And then there were the moms who were like, he's just a kid. And it was like, literally get off of the internet. Get off of the internet. This kid is being punished. The more embarrassing than that was like the parents acting like children online. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yes.
to like real TV. So like I'm sorry, that was a fucked up thing to say.
No. You're all good. Your opinions are.
But no, I've got some TV pilots written that I'm actually going to get around to finally fucking pitching this year. And actually, my favorite one is from a sketch comedy video that I made called Squatch Hunters. Basically, it's a cryptozoology show, but I want to turn up the insanity of the hosts to like a beyond absurd amount. Like, you know, I mean, you see these shows and these people like, you know, they only half-ass believe in what they're doing. And I was like, why don't we just cast fucking me and people I want to cast and make it just really insane? I'd love to offer you a role, but like, do you think you have enough enthusiasm for make-believe animals and night vision goggles to be a cast member of the show?
I can definitely do make-believe animals. I'm like totally into Neopets right now. I mean, I really took a deep dive in the pandemic with Neopets, and it's now my nighttime ritual. Night vision goggles, could I truthfully never worn them. Don't know what I would use them for. But if
spotting
you could
Sasquatches
to find Sasquatch
or Yeti or Swamp Ape.
That sounds so fun.
Names.
Like
Abominable
Blair Witch
Snowman
style. Yeah. I would love that. There's something about the conspiracy theory of Bigfoot and Sasquatch or whatever that really kind of has me by the chokehold. I feel like there's just so many, like, I know that like people want to latch onto anything and then they'll just say that they saw something when they didn't. But I'm like, there's got to be like one person who like actually saw some like, it's just an animal. It must be just like some animal. Not that I'm not like actually a Sasquatch believer, but I would love to go on like a deep dive hunt for Sasquatch or like mythical animals. Like if we were actually trying to find the Loch Ness monster, that would be so fun to me. And I think it would be fun because like you don't go into it thinking that you'll actually find them. But if you have the enthusiasm that you're doing something ridiculous and you're going all for it, I think that's really fun.
So that's what I think. I think it would be a great show because first of all, I'm casting myself. I consider myself a doctor of cryptozoology. You don't have to go to school for that because it's a fucking made up make believe science in the first place. But if I had like a cast of like some comedians, like you and like, but also like some for real fucking nuts,
that's brilliant.
And
I love that.
Put them all together, and I'll be like, all right, dude, we are going to just wherever. Like we're going to someplace in Mexico where the chupacabra has been spotted, and we're all out there with like night vision goggles on, like acting fucking insane. Maybe like a little element of Jackass in there too. And I mean, that
sounds like I would love to go full Sherlock Holmes, like FBI style, like killing, like, okay. Hear me out.
Okay.
Have you seen Killing Eve?
No, I have not.
Well, it's basically like there's this cat and mouse game where like this woman is trying to find this assassin and then they fall in love. So like the thing that she's hunting, she falls in love with. What if I don't know, maybe not love, but there could be like what if I'm a friend of Sasquatch? Like I'm an advocate. I'm not trying to hunt him. I just want to have contact and like, kind of like Alien, like shake hands and just like paint nails and do girl things and like, get a coffee brunch.
Yeah. No, I know from your stand up, you're a big advocate of Godzilla as a female actor.
Yeah, I am a big advocate for Godzilla. That's like another way that I've bonded with my little brother. My little brother had an obsession with Godzilla growing up. And so we always had to watch the Godzilla movies. And then like me as an adult, I like one of the first jokes, like when I was like actually really starting to do stand up and like get booked on shows that I did was like, I list all the reasons why I think Godzilla is a woman. And that's like a goofy way to just talk about like representation in Hollywood for women.
Yeah,
You know,
and I love that bit, especially when you're like, Godzilla only had 9 minutes in her own movie, like in that
yes,
whatever,
yeah.
whatever. I'm not sure. Is that the one
She
with
did
like?
8 minutes
There's
of
so many
screen
Godzilla
time.
movies. I think you might be talking about the one with like Matthew Broderick.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Well, because I mean, I've seen so many Godzilla movies at this point because of my little brother. And like every single time I'm like, I am so not interested in all these people that are hunting Godzilla. I want to know about her. What's her character arc? I think she needs more lines.
One last word on the show, because the offer is real. If I can get any Netflix rep to give me a fucking chance. But imagine like kind of like this. Parts Unknown with Anthony Bourdain mixed with a little bit of Jackass, mixed with a little bit of Doomsday Preppers, mixed with just like a little bit of just like straight up improv comedy.
Yeah.
And I mean, wouldn't you watch that? I would watch that.
I would watch that. That sounds so fun. I'm not like a big reality TV person, but if you cast like, I mean, I guess that is like a version of reality TV. But like if you cast like some really funny, goofy out there people, like that's so fun. That's like something that you watch before bed to like really unwind. I would totally. Yeah.
All right. We're going to like shift gears pretty hard right here. Because I know you went to film school at USC. For anyone that doesn't know what that means, University of Southern California, but you're originally from Boston.
Yeah.
And I think that qualifies you to say definitively the best movie ever made that takes place in Boston. And I promise no one will judge you on your answer. So.
You're killing me. You're killing me. There's, okay, the 90s and the 2000s were obsessed with Boston.
Yeah, I know. And they made good movie. Like that's why I felt bad when I wrote that. I was like, haha, this is silly. And then asking it just now, I just realized like I'm asking you to like, and you know, people will be like, the fucking Departed, obviously.
Okay. It's so hard. I think I have to go with Good Will Hunting for me.
I knew I'm telepathic. I have The Shining. I knew you were gonna say Good Will Hunting. I knew it.
I think it's really funny that like Matt Damon wrote such a I think it's really funny that Matt Damon wrote this movie for himself where he's like, I play a genius. Like I'm like, I play a hunky genius. Like I'm literally perfect. Feel bad for me. But I unironically like fuck hard with Good Will Hunting. Love Robin Williams. How could you not? I mean, Matt Damon is amazing.
So
Ben Affleck is really good in it. Yeah.
That might be Ben Affleck's best role.
I know. I feel so bad because I'm like rooting for him and J-Lo so hard. Also 2 Leos and a couple together. Crazy. I know you're like, shut up, bitch.
Not like that.
No, you're using your own, Doug. You said it with your eyes, and I agree with you. And
you caught me.
Like Ben Affleck, what are you like? I mean, Gone Girl was great, but like now he's doing like this like Netflix movie that came out. I forget the name of it, but it's basically like Gone Girl, but like with the younger woman, where he's like, it's like Gone Man is like how I would describe it. So like the roles are switched. But anyways, I told you I would do this where like my brain can't stay on one thing. I love Good Will Hunting. I love like any scene with the ones with him and the therapist are always the best. Like when he pretends to like have all these like mental illnesses to the fake therapist before he gets to Robin Williams. I always think those are really funny.
I respect your answer, and because you are from Boston and you are a filmmaker, actress, comedian, all that shit, we're gonna have to go with that because I mean, it really probably is the most widely well received film. Can I say mine though?
Yes, please. I want to know.
The Fighter with Christian Bale. The actual fighter is who's that guy? Mark Wahlberg it plays the fighter. It's a true story.
Oh, I remember this movie. It's by a filmmaker. I'm looking it up because I want to make sure I'm thinking of the right one.
Oh shit! Because if you don't remember this movie, my next question to you won't make any sense. Because my next question literally,
it's based in Dorchester, isn't it? Yeah.
My next question literally completely depends on the fact that you know that movie.
No, I do know this movie. Yes.
Okay, well then let me ask you my next question.
Yeah.
When you go back to Boston to visit after spending so much time in Hollywood, are your old friends like, she's an MTV girl, Mickey? Don't mess with her. She's wild.
No, yeah, they make fun of me. They give me shit.
Do they say that you can't date their boxer brother because you're an MTV girl?
Well, here's what I will describe it as. It's like, it's so funny to me because like, yeah, I'm working really hard and I'm doing some like kind of fun things right now, but like I've struggled so hard to get to even like this point. And like, when I feel like I feel like I'm very much at like the very beginning of my career in terms of like, I mean, like I don't have any like TV credits besides Facebook TV that like only old people watch, and like I don't even know, but like and so it's really funny to me that when I go back to Boston, all my friends are like, oh, here comes Miss Hollywood. Oh, you're so smart. You're so educated. I'm like, I went to fucking film school, bro. I didn't go to Harvard, but they treat you like you're like this, like this kind of like this sellout in a way that's like people from Boston, like they'll insult you and like and like call you a bitch or whatever, but like that's their love language, right? Like,
yeah,
poking fun and making fun of you is how they tell you they love you. And like the second most used word in Boston is bitch. So like that's
how do they say it?
So much.
Batch. How do they say it?
I don't know. There's no R, so you can't even do like a fake one.
Bitch.
Nailed it.
That's like the opposite of I'm from Boston. What's up, britches?
Yeah.
But you know, obviously you can tell like any place I haven't physically been myself, I base it entirely on movies of how that place must be. So
that's what I do.
Yeah, but well, that's the best way to be. That's also why probably I'm going to assume there's a term for this, and off the top of my head, I don't know what the term is. For instance, you're from Boston, I'm from Nashville. We're both from places that are have heavy accents.
Yes.
And I was born in Tucson, Arizona, but I grew up here, and I never at all gained any affectations or any accents of this region. And obviously speaking with you, you don't have any, I think it might be just people that love movies, but there's a reason for it. And it's that the Hollywoodification of language. So people like us, because of watching so many movies, we end up with what is considered just the blank slate American accent.
Yeah, that is really true. I think about that a lot. Like I've met a lot of people who are from, like you said, places that are known to have very heavy accents, and then they actually do just have this kind of like blanket American one. And I think it's a mixture of that, as well as like, I know like for me, and I think this might apply to you too, but tell me if it doesn't, like places like Nashville or places like Boston, I mean, they're made fun of in terms of like, there's like a lot of uneducated people. So like to talk in a thick Boston accent, you're kind of like a towny scumbag, like, oh, like, you know, like,
yeah.
Or like to have like a thick Southern accent. They're like, oh, like you're an uneducated redneck. So some of them have like a negative connotation, right? Even though
I never even thought about that, but because yes, here and no offense, I have so many like people that are going to listen to this that have a fucking Southern accent. That's like, and this is because I started this podcast here in Nashville, and this city is really, I mean, there's a big reason why like this popped off at all. And they even voted me like the second best podcast in the city, like in their fucking in the Nashville scene and shit. So I was like, oh, cool, you know. But people like, but like I have the same thing what you're saying where
it's a stigma.
I do think that like, yeah, if you got like, because sounding like a redneck makes you sound stupid.
Well, I think that the people who judge people or like for their accents are ignorant and that like they're wrong and that, you know, but it's like one of those things where it's like you make a stereotype of that kind of person. And then, you know, whether you realize it or not, your brain is going to perceive like, oh, I don't want to become that stereotype. So I'm going to put on a different voice for when I talk to people in the world. Like when I go back home to Boston, I find myself slipping into the accent. I don't know. And I love Boston accents. I also love like Southern accents as well. I think they're really like endearing. And I kind of am like mad at myself for being like listening to that voice in your head or like that kind of outside perception that would tell you that like your accent, your regional accent means that you're uneducated. You know what I mean? Like I kind of think that like that was me being too self-conscious about how the world perceived me. You know what I mean?
Can you do a Boston accent? Is it easy for you to do? Like I can barely, for me, just because I've been around it my whole life, I can easily do a very believable Southern accent just because I have an ear for it. But I don't know for you, can you even do it?
Yeah, it's easier when I'm yelling, angry, or drunk.
All right. Well, I got good news for you. We are dangerously close to the lightning round. And woo! I always tell everyone this, but I feel like with you, I don't have to tell you. The lightning round is I start saying stuff super fast. You have to answer. There's no time to think. It is rapid fire, straight from the gut. It's not cerebral. It is pure emotion. And the first one is, can you please perform a line from Shakespeare with a Boston accent? Shit. If it would help you, I could maybe give you a line.
Give me a line, yeah.
Oh, if it would help me, can you remind me of like
be or not to fucking be?
Hey, to be or not to fucking be?
That's the fucking question.
That's the fucking question. What are you, like some kind of MTV girl? I'll do it like in a Southern accent. I can't fucking do it.
You got it. Don't think. Do.
No, you know, I'm actually gonna ruin it. I don't, because I got my mind all set on fucking Boston, and I felt like so proud that I just did it like almost as good as you. So
to be or not to be.
Oh, I just got the hurry the fuck up because the other guest is here. So let's fucking burn through these. All right. If you could play any character from any Disney animated film in a live action adaptation, what role would you pick?
Ooh, I would pick Mulan. Oh no, wait, not Mulan. That doesn't make sense. I was thinking my favorite Disney character. I cannot play Mulan, and I would never play Mulan, gun to my head. And I would play, I don't know, Sleeping Beauty. Sounds fun to sleep. I don't know.
Oh yeah, sleeping is like my favorite. But there's nothing wrong with like that, you know, because honestly, I had thought that I wanted to play Sebastian just because I love his singing.
Oh my God, yes. Wait, The Little Mermaid, actually. I'm changing my answer to Little Mermaid.
Oh shit, well maybe we'll be in that movie together. Although I will be a CGI crab, but you would be a human being.
Yes.
Although, well, there's a lot to unpack there, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but me with a Jamaican accent is gonna be fucking problematic. So unless they want to like let fucking Sebastian,
more problematic than me being like, I'm gonna play Mulan.
We both got problematic with it. Thankfully, there's an army of Disney lawyers here to protect us because Disney Plus wants to buy this podcast, so I have lied. Okay,
not after this.
Similar question: if you were asked to direct a gritty reboot of one of your favorite childhood shows or films, what would you pick?
All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Hell yeah, that could be dark. That could be so fucking dark. I'd pick Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic the Hedgehog, that would be really good.
I know they're doing like a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog movies right now, but I think they're bullshit. And I think they should do one where Sonic is like, he's like destroying the machinery of industrialism to like save the planet. You know, like he's like an eco-terrorist, but he's like a lovable hedgehog.
Yes, yes.
I know you shouted out someone earlier, but just like we got time. Do you have a shout out for any up and coming comedians that you've worked with that you think are underrated? And maybe deserve a little shout out real quick.
Yeah, sure. I think Alex Hanna, who works at the Comedy Store, he's amazing. Not to say any of these people that I'm going to mention are like need my shout out because they don't. Also, I'll say Issa Medina, who has a fucking amazing podcast. You should go listen to it. It's called Sounds Like a Cult. It's on I'm not sure what number it ranks, but it's in the top 10 comedy podcasts on Spotify.
Oh, sick.
She co-hosts Formosa Comedy with me. And also she is one of my co-hosts on Conspiracy Central, one of my best friends, incredible. I'm going to give you one last person who I really Abby Feldman. Abby Feldman is a musical comedian, stand-up. She is also she makes like funny pop music as well as stand-up comedy.
Cool, I
and
love that.
her like last song called Call Me by Your Hebrew Name was also in the top 10 comedy most listened to musical comedy on iTunes. And she's a rock star. She's like a triple threat. She can do music, she can do comedy, she can act, she can write. Wonderful person, also great yoga meditation leader.
Nice.
Yeah. So those are my top three. Oh, and Alex Hanna, he works at the Comedy Store, and he's just like a phenomenal stand-up comedian, human being, and very funny guy. Follow him on Twitter. He's got a great Twitter.
Hell yeah. Shannon, I've only got one question left to ask, and it's the most important question of the entire podcast. Okay. Everyone that's listening right now, how can they check you out? How can they find your comedy, your shows, your socials, all that shit?
My socials, you can find me on Twitter my name is actually on Twitter. It's called Discount Angel Mommy 77. If you don't know who Angel Mommy is, check her out. She is amazing. My Twitter handle is Shannon Hardy 78. My Instagram is Shannon Hardy 77. Upcoming shows, go to the Tight Tens comedy drag show in May. And I think that's all I want to plug, just my socials, and come to my show. I have a show tonight, but this won't come out tonight. So follow me on Instagram if you want to come to a show.
And also,
that's where I post my shows.
Everybody, there'll be links through my socials too.
You're Shannon, breaking up. I'm sorry.
But we just hit unstable internet, and I've already lost visual of you. So I'm just going to say thanks for being on the show, Shannon.
You're cutting out. Could you repeat that?
Oh, I was just saying we lost a strong internet connection. So I was just going to say, all I wanted to say was thanks for being on the podcast, Shannon. It was a blast. Hope to have you back someday.
It's been so fun, Doug. Your views are your own, but they're amazing. Thank you for having me.
Bye, Shannon.